Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be using some collage tissues to create a really quick background in our art journal. So you can see here I've got a very messy background that I have been using my paint on, which I wasn't particularly happy with. So I cut out these circles from some collage tissue from Niamh that I thought I would paste in the background. Now the reason I chose these is because one, I really like the colours, a bit of a rainbow girl if you hadn't noticed that on my journeys anyway, but two, because they're printed on tissue paper, you'll see that they go translucent. So even though I had that mark making in the background, it hasn't gone to waste. I can still see it through what I've got on my page. So it's one of the reasons I really love using printed collage tissues as backgrounds, particularly if I've got messy pages like this that don't quite tie together. I can sort of cover them over but still see that stuff happening underneath, which I really like. So when I was gluing down these circles, you can see I twisted them a little bit, so I didn't want the purple lying over the purple. I wanted to overlay some of the colours, so I've got the yellow hitting the purple and so on, just so I've got a little bit of interest happening on my page and it's not all blending together. And I'm just drying off my collage gel medium, just so that I can do some stuff over the top. So when I finished that, I decided that I want to put a big face over my journal. Now this craft journal, I've been a little bit obsessed by using faces in it. All sorts of faces, stamped faces, drawn faces, stenciled faces, collage tissue faces, anything I can. I've been using them in this journal. So this is a really large face stencil, from Scrap FX, from Stencil Girl. And I just really liked it because of how big it was, how it fitted on the page, but also the face itself is quite protected. So there's only a little bit of detail on the face with the nose and the eyes and a little bit of the mouth, which means I've actually got a lot of space that you will be able to see underneath, which means that all that collage tissue that I've put down with the rainbow face or the rainbow color wheel, I'm going to be able to see most of that. So when you're choosing particularly stencil faces, have a think about where on your background you want to put it and what you're going to see underneath it. So it does take a little bit of brain working out to sort of think what's going to be seen, what's not going to be seen. But once you've used your stencils a few times, you get a bit of a feel for how that's going to work. So I'm actually not using black on this page, even though it looks black. This is Payne's Grey. And I like this because it's not as harsh as a black, and it is slightly transparent. So even though it does block out most of the light, and I'm putting on a second coat, I can still in the close-ups actually see some of that collage happening underneath it, which I really like. So it blacks it out, but not totally, which I find really helpful. Once I've dried my paint, and again, because it's gone on so lightly, it doesn't take all that long to dry out, I'm going to put in some detail work with my white pen. So this in particular around the eyes is really going to pop them out from the background and make them a focal point on the page. So just putting in the whites of the eyes and the catch-all, which is the little glint of light in your pupil, will help really pop this image out from the background. Because to read faces, we like to see the eyes, or that's where, if we see the eyes, we realize it's a face. You can see I'm playing around with my white pens to find one that actually works. I was struggling a little bit with that Life of Colour one, so I've swapped back over to my perennial favourite, which is my Posca pen. You can see it's a little bit more opaque because I'm putting it on. So once I've done that, I then decided I want to put a bit more detail into the rest of the face as well, to show where some of those the light was catching. So just around the edges of some of the stenciled lines, I'm just going in and drawing some white. So it's like a highlight, I suppose, of where the light is coming from. So the fact that the catch-alls in my eyes are looking to the left means the light is coming from the left. So it means all my highlights of where the light's hitting needs to be on the left as well. So it's not very often I actually think of sort of where the light is coming from, but in something in particular like this, it is really handy to make sure that you're very consistent with it, so it all reads correctly when you're looking at it. Sometimes with things like that, you can be looking at it going, there's just something doesn't quite, I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but it just doesn't quite work. So, and usually it's, you know, the light might be in the wrong place, or it's going the wrong way. So our brains are pretty good at picking this stuff up, even if we can't really explain it ourselves. So just by going in and just putting those little bits of white, you can see how it's helping to shape the image a little bit more, and push it out from the background somewhat, and make it look a little bit sharper as you go along. So once I put in the detail, I then decided I wanted to put in a quote as well. And because it's such a large image, I've only got 1 or 2 areas on it that a quote would work. And the best way, or the best place I could find was down here in the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm just again using my white pen, using really long skinny letters, and putting "look for the light," which is quite appropriate really, with, you know, what we've been talking about in this video. I also like the, you know, look for the light within, because particularly with how the colour wheel was framed on the face, you've got that lovely burst of light coming from within her, the colour coming from within. This is a really, really quick and simple page to do. You can still see that mark making from the background through the collage tissue in the background, with a large stencil over the top, looking for the light source, and you can pull it together really, really quickly. Check out the description box below for some of the supplies I've used on this page, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.